Hello, I'm Czardus. Sit back, relax, grab a coffee, and let's build in Cities Skylines 2. But before we do that, be sure to check out Apex Gaming for your custom PC needs. There is a link in the description below. But also, the other thing is we're going to talk about a little bit of lore for Riverwood. So, as we journey today through 1860 to 1880 approximately, witness the dawn of industry, the sparks of innovation, and the unbreakable spirit of a community poised on the edge of a new era. In 1860, Riverwood steps into the limelight, officially recognized as a township, a moment of unity and pride, setting the stage for a future bright with promise. Then in 1863, Jim Harrington gives up on his dreams of striking it rich by finding gold and turns his sights on the forest. With a keen eye for opportunity, he starts a small timber operation, his ambitions towering as the trees he fells. Watch as he wisely buys up land, laying the foundations of a legacy that will shape Riverwoods forever. In 1868, it is Riverwood's connection to the wider world. The arrival of a postal service weaves us into the tapestry of distant communities, our voices carried far beyond the forest's embrace. 1872 tests our mettle with the Great Fire. But from the ashes rises a stronger Riverwoods, united in purpose, our resolve forged in the heart of the blaze. By 1874, our roots delve deeper, not just in timber, but in the fertile soil. Agriculture flourishes, painting a mosaic of sustainability and growth. 1876 electrifies Riverwoods with the arrival of the telegraph. Our whispers now thunder across the land, connecting us in an instant web of thought and innovation. And then, in 1878, brings whispers of steel and steam. Railroad surveyors grace our lands, their eyes set on the horizon, heralding the iron giants that promise to carry Riverwoods into the future. So from the humble whispers of the wilderness to the bustling chorus of industry and innovation, Riverwood stands on the precipice of change. So with all of that in mind, for the background history of today's episode, we have a lot to do. And first off, what I want to do is I want to get some of our trails in. So we're, past the first milestone. So we got another grant. I want to get some trails that go out into the woods, or connect us to the outside world a bit more. So first we're going to have one, let's see, we've got this little thing here, which I might at some point make into an actual creek, or like a riverbed going down there. And in fact, I'm really tempted to do it. I think it would be really interesting. We've got a little bridge here. I would want this to be a really little creek, but in any sense, we have a spot here where we're going to have a trail come off this way, kind of avoid the forest a little bit, and then it's going to make its way along the riverbed. And this one is going to just be an alternative path for anybody who is not actually on the river itself for their travel. So this is going to continue all the way here, and then it's going to connect to the outside connection. And I think about here, they would go around that hill. So go ahead and have the external connection there. So that gives us another external connection. Then we've got a trail going that way and a trail going that way. We don't want any bridges yet over the main river. I don't think we would quite have one yet. So we're going to leave those out. But we are going to see, at this point, we need more people. And what I think I want to do today is really move a lot of these farms out this way. And it's going to be a long way from town. So we might see another town develop, but we're also going to have timber come out this way. And I think we'll start with the timber. We have some here, but again, we're going to get a lot of this industry out of here because we're going to be expanding the actual town into here at this point. So let's go ahead and get the timber first. Let's bring a road in here, and this is going to be the initial timber road. And maybe this will be Harrington Road or something like that. It goes off that way. Yeah, I think that will be the plan. This is going to be Harrington, because Jim Harrington has bought this land and he's buying up land out this way. So he's working on buying a whole bunch of land, speculating as he goes. This road is going to go up somewhere. Let's check just a minute. Okay, we're going to call this one Pacific Trail because it goes out towards the Pacific Ocean. And then this one is going to be Olympia Trail because that heads back towards Olympia and Seattle and stuff like that. So then Pacific Trail comes to there, Olympia Trail goes to there, and then in here, this road comes all the way in, and we're going to name this. Wow, yeah, look at that. I wish these were more adjustable, but we can't really change. See, it like focuses on there. I can't edit the road itself. So we're going to have this just be no name right now. But eventually we're going to name a lot of these roads. So yeah, we're going to get some industry over there, over here. So we're going to go ahead and just delete this big forestry thing. And in fact, I want to just take out all of these farms too. We're going to move them all over because I want to redo this and actually I think I'll keep this road here. I like that. But we'll probably redo some of that and get some grid out that way so that we can get residential expansion. In the meantime, let's go ahead and get our forestry over here now. And this is going to be Harrington's first lumber spot. And I think we'll like rename it or something, and maybe, I don't know. I don't think we can do districts yet, but we'll do that soon. And we'll probably call this whole area Harrington's Forest or something like that. And I think we'll just go ahead and bring this curved and stuff like that and bring that here. It's funny, sometimes when you're doing Let's Plays like this, you have to remind yourself to just stop talking. And, I get used to just commentating as I'm playing. And in fact, when I play by myself, I do that now. But anyway, yeah, you have to do that. And what do we have out here? We've got a few barns. That's perfect because that'll be a farming area. But what I want first is we're going to kind of divide this land out. We've got a hill, which should be fine for farming. Just bring this down and we're back into metric system here. Okay, we're back in US now. We'll come up here about 500 yards. Bring it out this way too. And that's going to be a farm. We're kind of getting this divided out. Pretty nice. But also like not quite dividing perfectly because we will have hills and things like that. What I want to do now is we're going to come in here and make sure that we've got fertile land out here because we want to get farms here. And I'm using a mod from the Thunderstore site, which you can find a link to down below. We'll get a lot of fertile land out in this area. We're definitely going to get a lot of farms out here. So we'll go ahead and now get grain farming out here. Got all of these unlocked. I did not mean to unlock all of them. Oh, I know why. Because we are in historical start. We've got another mod that allows us to have historical start. And so that is how we got a lot of that unlocked. So we're going to have to divide this into 2 farms. We'll bring this out. And I want to go about halfway in that. Which is probably about here. And then we'll come down like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, surveying, they probably would be pretty much exact. But we're going to keep it the way it is. Okay, so that should give us plenty of industry going on. And again, we're pretty far away from the town, but the biggest thing we need right now is more people. And so we're going to focus on that. We're going to take these roads out and we're going to see the expansion as people are moving in at this point. We're going to see a much bigger boom probably in the next few episodes. I like it once the railroads come. But for now, they're starting to build this out quite a bit. And so what we're going to do is we're going to get a grid along this way. And I do want straight road. So we're going to go about here. We'll bring this same size grid that we have here, which is 70 by 70. Yeah, beautiful. So we're going to do the same thing here, 70. And here we got to be careful because we don't want to snap everywhere. And we could turn the snapping like those guidelines off, but I do want them in other spots. So now I'm going to build this grid out like here, and then over here we're going to have a separate one. Okay, so that should be the first grid that goes over here, and we'll probably have the same thing go on the other side, or maybe we'll have a different grid on that side. But what I want to do, and see, I want to have several different grid like layouts, because I think that will give us more variety in the city itself. And so over here, we're now going to bring another one out here, same size though, 70 by 70. Because that is like the standard that they are going for in this city. And I want to turn off this one, guidelines. I'm going to go to 70 by 70. And if you're wondering why I'm doing this without using some of the like new building methods, like the grid mode or just, going all the way across and stuff like that, it's because I'm trying to be exactly, like, very precise about how I'm setting this up. And you see, some of this is not ending up the way that we really would want the zoning. That's okay, though, because what I envision is that maybe a building that goes here ended up buying all of the property around there. So I'm okay with some of those gaps in the zoning. The same thing with some of how some of the other zoning stuff like works on the curbs and things like that, like these gaps. I'm okay with that because, again, that adds a little bit more variety to the city. And you want some of that imperfectness to get the look of a realistic city, because the world is not perfect, and neither should our fictional cities if we are striving for realism. So now we're getting to a spot where these grids are starting to come together. So what I'm going to do is, you can see I'm just kind of playing with this to see where we end up. So 70 yards out from here, let's turn off the snapping, is about there. Whereas from here, it gets to about here. So we're going to extend it out this way because we get really close to some of that. We're going to take that off, and hopefully we can we're not quite getting to 70 yards there. I'm trying to figure out exactly where that's going to be, about here, which coincidentally is very close to our 70 yards that way. We'll keep this here, and this grid will continue down here then. Then on this side, I think we're probably going to make it about 70 here. Yeah, that is going to be really, really close. We'll get 90 degrees out here, like that. And then this one, again, we're going to go 70 yards. Get a road up that way. And then here, we'll probably come out 70. Yeah, don't quite get there. Turn snapping back on, and we will get like that. So that's how our two grids are going to meet, and that, I'm very happy with how that turns out. This one then can continue out here just a little bit further, and this one can continue this way. So that now the next thing we need to think about is where the harbor is going to go, because they would be planning this out as they're starting to think, oh boy, we can get a pretty big city in here. Look at all this great stuff. What are they mad about? Sewage. They should have water there. Sewage treatment is fine. That should be coming here. So what are you mad about there? Should have power as well. Not enough water and not enough sewage. Does it? Oh, because this is a bridge. Okay. This is one of those things that really doesn't always make sense. Those bridge networks don't have the water built in, so we have to be careful about that in this game. But anyway, thinking about this, they would be thinking, okay, like somebody has a vision here, and maybe it's Harrington. Maybe Harrington is starting to take over some of the long-term planning for the city and seeing that, okay, we could get a pretty big city in here. How are we going to plan that out? And one consideration is going to be, we need to have a harbor. And the harbor, I think, is going to end up in here. So what we're going to do is be careful with this. I think some of this might end up being the industry, which is unfortunate because the wind does blow towards a lot of the residential. Now over here, the wind is a lot slower, so it won't go as hard. We could get the harbor over here then, and get a lot of this to be, yeah. I mean, this is our original town, but we're expanding out this way. We had our original thing there, and maybe what they do, I mean, there's plenty of timber here that they probably would cut down. They wouldn't save that. So we're probably going to lose all of that. And I think this will be the harbor out here. I think originally this would be a pretty safe spot for them to use. Bring the boat, although the boats probably would come along here because they might be going up the river a bit. Maybe not, because that is pretty shallow, or like pretty narrow passageways. They would, although it's deep enough, they probably would come up here. It's just trying to figure out exactly where some of this will go. And maybe we end up getting it on, like getting industry out on this here. How is the wind here? The wind is pretty strong, but it goes over onto that island that we're probably not going to build too much onto. So that could be, and this is a pretty small spot too. Okay, so what we're going to do then is we have to get a bridge or a road that comes down in here. And now that we've got this nice layout here, I think we're going to have to redo a little bit of something here, because we're going to have a bit of a bigger road coming down there. Though maybe we don't, maybe at this point they're not really thinking about that, you know? Like maybe this road comes out here like that. This comes in here like that, and then we just continue to extend this, and we get a road out here. Although maybe all of that planning comes later, and our initial harbor is somewhere else. It could be over here. We could make this some industry. That might make sense, actually. Get this to be the original harbor, and then later on we build a bigger one. Yeah. So in that case, we'll just continue with this grid here and build it out accordingly. I think we'll go all the way up to here. Get that over like that. Yep, okay. And then these can come all the way up here. We will go all the way to, that should be 210 yards. I mean, doesn't have to be perfect. Their surveying was off just slightly there. But also maybe because of the water there, they were a little bit more careful. Okay, at this point, I'm ready to start adding a ton of residential. So we're going to go in here and just start adding a whole bunch of low density for now. And I don't really care which way it lines up. I'm doing North America, perfect. But I do want to see lots of people coming in here. We're going to go ahead and speed up the game. And we're going to start with... Actually, we can fill this too. I was going to say we're going to only do the interior of the grids. But we can get a lot of this in here. We'll go ahead and let that fill. Okay, that's filled in. We're going to check a few things. So, buildings have been built, but the people have not arrived yet because, of course, ignore the cars. It's 1860s and 70s, but we have cars and apparently a bus, too. This is going from one town to another. But it is what it is. They have to come in here, and then they'll get here, and we'll go from there. But I do want to go ahead and just fill this in with more residential. And some people would go in and they'd be trying to figure out how to get some of these blocks to be just right. I don't really care all that much right now. Eventually, when we redo this into townhomes or things like that, I might try and adjust things to have them be a little bit more situated. But for now, we're really just trying to get the city off the ground. Okay, so now those homes have been built, and while we're waiting for that to fill in the rest of the way, what I want to do is I want to bring this road out, because at this point, they've got this path going here. I think we would see more trails developing over here, and some of it would be planned and some of it would be not. So what we're going to do is we'll come in here and just bring this out. Now this water, and in fact, you know what, we're going to get this water going. I'm ready to figure this out. So we've got a lot of terrain tools here. We have a groundwater resource tool that we can use as well, but although that won't do any good for us. But what I want to do is we are going to, first of all, just see what happens with this. If we bring this down and we bring this here, I want this brush a little bit smaller actually. Bring this through here. Just make it even smaller. You really don't want much water to come in here. It's really just a stream. So we'll soften this back out like that. Kind of erode the mouth a little bit. So again, what we're trying to do is get just a little bit of that water coming through here. And it doesn't want to go too far because it can go that way instead. So what we're going to do is just continue to build this out, because at some point the slope goes down, and it might be about here. Yeah, we get a little bit growth there, and then it goes down there. Okay, so what we're going to do then is we're going to narrow this out a little bit more. And then we will smooth it. And in a minute, we're going to do the sloping tool. Get this in a little bit better. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to slope to here. And we want to start down here. And you can see that we are actually much, much lower down here. So we're going to have a little bit of a canyon, which I think will be fine. We'll have to probably redo that bridge because it's mad at me for trying to do that. But if we do this here, we should start to have the water go down here. Yeah. You can see the water is starting to flow down here, which is good. We're going to pause the game and take this bridge out and then redo it. Oh, actually, that is because we've got a water pipe here. So we're going to come in and take out the water pipe, get our slope the right way, and then we can come back in and do the water pipe again. And now we can get that bridge back in too. That bridge goes straight across here. That did not work the way I wanted it to. Is it the bridge that's doing this issue or the water pipe? It should be the water pipe. Yeah, so what we're going to do then is a little bit of a trick here. We're going to come down lower. and then over, and that should fix it. Yeah. Okay, so now we've still got that connected, and we can let the water through here. And then, like I said, we're going to have this canyon here. And that bridge does not look the way I wanted it to, but that's okay. We're going to leave it the way it is for now. We're going to take out anything that we have in here, like this bush and these rocks. Anything down in the canyon itself is going to come out. For now, at least. And that will get the water all the way over to here. And then I want to soften a little bit along the sides. But we want to make sure that we leave space down at the bottom for that. So what we can do is we can carefully go around and smooth that out. Probably after the water is done, because for now we're going to have to continue to get this to slope where we want it. So the slope comes along here, and we're going to continue to build it up this way. So down here, hopefully the water will split. Yeah, the water's still going down, so that should be fine. And then over here, we're getting hopefully close to the end. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to do the rest off camera. Okay, so this is making progress. We've got some water coming down here. It gets pretty shallow at spots, which I think is fine because creeks are that way. But it looks better. And I think eventually maybe we'll get a creek that goes all the way there. And we might want to not have it split because obviously it might not have enough water, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to let that go. In the meantime, we do have unemployment rising, which is good because that means that we can continue to add more to our farms and our timber. I think what I'm going to do is come over here and get a timber in first. Let's go ahead and get another one of these. So a second part of Harrington's forest here. And of course, there will be other people building forestry, but for now, I really want to focus on Harrington. And I think we'll get several different competitors eventually, but for now, like I said, we're going to focus on getting Harrington's industry going, and then we'll come out here and we'll get more farms as well. So for farms, I think what I'll do, how far are these guys? They are about 260. So actually, I think this road is 500, right? Yeah. Very good. So we're going to bring this in like that, make sure it's about 90 degrees at the one end. And then just connect this. So we'll get a couple more farms there, and then we'll come out and bring this up another 500. Bring this over 500 as well, which is about there. That's perfect. And then here, because of this forest here, we're not going to have it go that way. I think what we'll do is we'll just have one road come up here and down here like that, and then we could come in and get more forestry and or more farming. Let's go ahead and get a couple other types in here just so that we have a good variety of crops and things. And of course, it does not like to have more than 2 nodes together, so we're like 2 things in there, so we're just going to have to move a tiny bit there, and then we can go back to snapping. And we'll get another one here. Okay, and then we'll double check. Unemployment is going down, so we should be good to go for that now. And let that continue to fill in. We reached another milestone, by the way, so that is good as well. Okay, so now I have taken out this part of the creek. I don't think we're going to have enough water, so we're going to just have it come down on the one side, which means now we have an idea of where that is going to go. We can get this road to extend out that way and make its way to the farms, or at the very least here. I mean, let's do this. This road is going to continue up here I don't know that it would cross there. I think it would continue to come up this way and then make its way back up here and then go on that bridge. I think that is the main bridge. And, it's kind of weird that we've got this curve here. Eventually, we might see, maybe it comes down there. We'll have it split there. We can get one down here, and we'll get another little bridge down here. So what I want to do is I want to go with the straight tool. We're going to raise this up just ever so slightly. And that might be too close. What I want here, we'll do this. I want a bridge here, and I want it to be pretty flat. And then we'll come in with our road and come along, come down, and a smooth curve into the bridge there. Then on this side, what I think we'll do is we'll join this road here. So this is going to continue to go straight here because it is pretty flat. I mean, yes, we have a slope, but it's only 4%, which isn't too bad for a road. And then here we'll come up and meet that and come down like that. So now we have another path that people can take to get out to these farms. Yeah, I like that. And I'm going to take this road back out. I don't really like the way it goes through there. Find a different way to do that. Like maybe extend this road or something. I'm not sure yet. And I just realized we don't have our first school. I thought I had built this last time. I know we talked about it, but I'll put that in there. And then we've got one school here, which will be good, and we can get a little bit of services. So now that a fire has happened, we're going to come in and get our first fire. Although we can't do fire and rescue yet. We are not at that milestone. We do have our school. That is good. We will get some students, and maybe we'll get some people moving in with children. Now, our population has actually been going down, which is a little concerning. Not used to having that happen in a game. I think it's because I've got so much of the industry is so far away that they have to travel a long time to get there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start bringing in a little bit of industry in here, because I think we would start to see just a little bit developing in here. And the original plan, or like what I just said a little bit ago earlier in this episode, was that we would have our original docking spot would be over here. So that is the plan. I believe I've set the taxes to a spot where, anything that is not related to the industries that we would see at this time is not going to develop here. So we should be able to put industry in here and hopefully get some okay industry developing. And this here is reserved because that is where the original trading post theoretically was, and we'll build a park or something there eventually. But for now, we're going to get the industry in there, which should hopefully get more interest in here. I mean, unemployment is so low that you'd expect more demand for the people, because that is very low. Yeah, we should see more coming in. All right, and the last thing I want to work on today is kind of planning a little bit of the railroad. We'll talk about this more in the next episode, but at this point, the railroad people would be starting to come in and thinking about this, because we're starting to see a town develop here, and the railroads are wanting to come out. The issue we're going to have is that looking at the height here, we can see that sea level is about 91 meters, and we are going to probably, the railroad would go along this river, because that's going to be where the pass is. Otherwise, this way is going to go up, and there's a giant peninsula with a giant rainforest out there, the Olympic National Forest or something like that. But 430 meters is the spot where we're going to need to get up to. I think it would follow this trail pretty much. And the issue with that is that rail-wise, it shouldn't be too bad from here to about here. That's 2.5%. We can work with that by curving a little bit, that's going to be fine. But to get from here to the water is 5%. And we're not going to want to be switching back and forth down in here. So I think what we're going to need to see is that rail is probably going to have to come out this way and curve over like that. And so then the rail, again, if our port is going to be down in here, we're probably going to want to see the rail come in here. And if we come down to about here, that's 124. We might be able to work with that. Maybe have the rail station in here. That might work, and then bring it down that way. So from here to, say here, 4%. From here out to there, 3.8. We can work with that. We can come along like that and curve up. Yeah, I think that will be our plan for the rail. So we are ready. Next episode, we will be working on rail. Thanks for watching today. Be sure to click on the video on the screen. It should take you to that next episode if it's available. If not, it'll take you to another video that you will enjoy. I guarantee it. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time. Take care.